with it than, you know, you work in 12-hour shifts. I mean, I used to. So I don't know how I used to hold down 3 jobs and do 12-hour shifts and how I would still be able to do this business. So you'd be able to, like, you know, you can end it off with that. And then you said something in the chat about ending it off with end of month stuff. So yeah.
We can definitely do that.
I'll do my thing and then I'll throw it over to you.
Alrighty.
Whenever everybody's up in here. What? You ate my breakfast sandwich. Don't look at me like that. Mad at you. Took my Activate to church this morning.
All right, so I've got us recording.
Okay, so if you're doing this business and this is just your side hustle and you're happy with your full-time job, that's awesome. But there's a lot of us, because I know that there's a lot of promoters who are just doing this for a side hustle, and that's perfectly fine. That's absolutely okay. I like that, you know, you're keeping busy and you got a side hustle going on, especially this year with everything that's happened. That's awesome. But a lot of us are trying to go for this being our full-time. So we're working our part-times and full-times. Like, those are temporary, and this is where we want to go. You want to get my lap? Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. I ain't got time. So, like, a lot of us are working for us to be doing this full-time. So, like, I like my part-time job. Finally, I have a 9 to 5 that I enjoy going to. My managers are actually friendly. My coworkers are actually friendly. Most of my customers are actually friendly, but that's not where I want to retire. This is where I want to retire. So on days that I'm working at the grocery store, there are times where I'll feel guilty. Like, I didn't get a lot of my IPAs done. I didn't get a lot of stuff done for my business because I was over there. You know, because I have to be over there right now. I didn't have time today to focus on my business. So now I'm going to bed. Maybe 5 IPAs got done, if that. Didn't really get a post up. Wasn't inspired for nothing. Didn't do a live. But don't feel guilty if you didn't do any of that. Don't feel guilty because you went to your part-time job or your full-time job and then you didn't get anything done for this. It's okay, because there's 7 days in a week. So especially if you're just a part-timer like I am, and like I usually work the weekends, I'll work anywhere between 1 and 4 days out of the week, but I'm only there for a few hours. So I can fit more time in to my business than, say, if I were a full-timer like Amber is. I can fit more time in this. Plus, it's okay for those days to unplug, because those could be the days you get inspired for a post. Those could be the days you get inspired to just turn that live on, flip that camera around, and speak passion into people, right? So, like, if you're doing this for a side hustle, that's awesome. But for those of us who are trying to do this full time, but we're still chained to that time clock, we're trying to break that chain so that we can do this full time, not just to be with our families, because we all have our own personal motives why we want this to be our full time. So I'm not going to go into all of that because we'd be here all day and all night and all week. But I love hearing why you want to do this full time. So if you want to message me, that's awesome. If you want to message Amber with that, that's awesome. We'd love to hear your stories and your whys and why you want or need this to be full time. But sometimes we have to do that part-time job or that full-time job because we still have that car payment. And maybe we're still, you know, I'm still a noob in this network marketing thing. This is the first time I've done this. So I'm learning as I'm going, right? And I get to train others to do it their way. Like, I'm doing it my way. This promoter's going to do it their way. And I get to train them, right? And then they get to turn it into their thing. And maybe you're working that part-time or that full-time and you feel guilty when you go to that job because you didn't get to pour into your business. So don't feel guilty for that, because it's absolutely okay. Go on, get down. It's absolutely okay. I don't want you to feel guilty because you're working that time clock job and you didn't get to work your business. I get frustrated sometimes because I was there all day and I come home and yeah, I still have the energy to get stuff done, but I still have my family. So I don't really have a lot of time to pour into my business too. So it's okay if you use that day to unplug, because maybe something's going to inspire you to be able to work your business tomorrow, to be able to pour into your promoters the next day or your customers or however it is. It's absolutely okay to work that part-time job. Don't feel guilty about it. It's okay to work that full-time job. Schedule your time. Like, I get up an extra hour or two in the mornings, and that's my self-development. Because so even if you just get your self-development done, pour into yourself first, which is what you have to do anyways, because you can't pour into other people until you pour into yourself. You can't help other people fill their cups if your cup is empty, if that makes sense. So make sure the first thing that you do every day is pour into yourself, because that's what's going to lead to an inspiration for a post or a live, or maybe that's how somebody's going to see you while you're at your part-time job with that sticker on your arm, and they're going to be like, what is that? And oh my gosh, this cashier is so happy. Why is she so happy? She's a cashier. No cashier should be that happy, right? So I don't fake my energy anymore when I'm working a customer service job. It used to be like a forced thing where it was just like I walked through the door and it was like a switch was flipped and bam, this is my customer service voice. It's not forced anymore. That energy is coming naturally, and it's because of these products. So if you have to work that part-time job or that full-time job, it's absolutely okay. Don't feel guilty about it, because you poured into yourself in the morning. So even if you have to get up that hour earlier, just to be able to pour into yourself and then get your kids up to do what you got to do with your kids and then go off to your job, you poured into yourself first. And that is what matters, because in you doing that, that's going to help someone else fill up their cup even just a little bit. Even when a customer comes through and they're in a bad mood and they ask me, how are you today? And I'm like, I'm fantastic. How are you? And they're like, wait, why are you so energetic? Right? So I get to pour into them, and then they're going to know that cashier was happy. That cashier poured into me today. Maybe today's not such a bad day. And they'll come back through and they'll see that sticker on your arm or whatever, and they'll ask you about it. And that could happen while you're at your part-time job. You're still working your business, right? You're just doing it in a different way. And you're unplugged from devices and medias and everything. So you're able to expand your mind a little bit, and you poured into yourself, and now you're at your part-time job. And I'm not saying go to your part-time job and be like, I promote Thrive. You guys got to try this. I'm not saying go into your part-time job and do that, but go pour into yourself in the morning, do your nutrition, and go to your part-time job or full-time job, and people are going to see a change in you. And then that's what's going to start bringing people, hey, can you not eat my finances, my bills? Thank you. I mean, eat them, but pay them first. But yeah, so pour into yourself first, and then doing your nutrition and go to your work, because people that you work with, they're going to see a change in you. People, I'm working here. People see that change in you, and that's you working your business. So find those times throughout your day. If you can't have your phone at work, that's fine. Wait till you get home, do your thing, sneak off to the bathroom for 10, 15 minutes, whatever you got to do, and then just kind of throw out some IPAs, right? Or throw up a post that you were inspired by that day. Bam, you're done. And now you can go be with your family, because that's the best part about this business. You can fit it in the pockets of your day on your time. You're not chained to a time clock. You can do this throughout your day. You can do this one time during the day. It doesn't matter. I'm more energetic in the morning. I can't believe I just said that, but I'm more into it in the morning than I am in the later in the afternoon or evening. So that's my time to work my business. And then just throughout the day, I check my messages and answer questions, or maybe I'll be inspired by another post and I'll throw up another post. But I do my business in the morning, and then I've never been a morning person. And now I'm a morning person, and it's because of this nutrition, and it's because I'm waking up with a purpose and a passion, and it's because I want this to be my full time. So I'm going to pour everything that I can into it while I can, and then go do my part time, and then come home and be with my family. And I've done it all in one day, and it's that easy. And that's the best part about this business, is it's not really a business, it's a lifestyle, is how I like to look at it. Because I'm living it with using the products, and I'm living it in sharing the products. So just fit it into your day. If you have to get up an extra hour earlier, that's what I suggest doing, or stay up an hour later if you're a late sleeper. Whatever your schedule is, sneak those 15 minutes into the bathroom and throw it up, like throw up that post, scroll through your feeds, whatever you got to do, wish happy birthdays, whatever first comes to your mind of an IPA of your non-negotiables, right? So that's me as a part-timer. Yeah, I have more time to do it. Amber's going to explain a little bit of how you can fit this business in the pockets of your day for a full-time, because she's a nurse. I don't know how she does it. And then she's going to end it off with our end of the month. And then we're going into a new month, you guys. So I'm so psyched, and I cannot wait.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to kind of spin off you a little bit because I have worked full time the entire time that I've been with Lavelle. And for the longest time, and this is not something new that I tell you guys, but I struggled with my business for the first year and a half, where I literally didn't work my business. I thought I was working my business, but I wasn't. And I constantly would use the excuse of, but I work full time. But I work full time. And so it must be easy for so-and-so to do A, B, and C because they have all this time. Okay. My ego got in the way of my business for the first year and a half. That is why it took me so long to get to 4K. Okay. And so the reason why I share that, and I say this till I'm blue in the face, the reason why I share that is so that if my story can inspire you at all to not sit in that struggle, because here's the thing. I could sit there and say that I work full time, and so I don't have as much time as somebody else to run their business. But really, if I take a look in the mirror, what I was lacking was discipline. 100%, because I'd never had an IPA list. I never had any idea. It was like going to the gym without knowing what you're doing, right? That was me running my business every single day and posting a Pinterest quote and hoping it was going to change somebody's life, and not realizing why people weren't in my inbox. But yet I was too ego driven that I didn't want to send out cold messages. And so in my brain, it was like, I don't have to talk to anybody, right? And so I wasn't having those engagements. I wasn't talking to people about my business. I was too scared to talk to people about my business. And I was literally stuck in this rut for a year and a half. And I 100% used the excuse of, but I work full time. And so that's why I did that training. If you've never seen it on the Hustle and Thrive Tribe page, it's called, but I work full time. Okay. And I'm going to go back to my notes because there was a lot of good information there. But the number one thing is self-discipline, right? It's getting your butt out of the bed and going to the gym in the morning if what you're going after is said goal of whatever your health goal is, right? It's the same thing. If you want your business to be able to pay you full time, you have to be able to work it like a business, which means you have to prioritize it, which means you then have to be very disciplined, and you have to really hone in on your time management. I'm not perfect. I definitely, it is still something I work on every single day, but over time, I've been able to perfect things. I've been able to crank things out quicker. Sometimes I would much rather go live versus sit there and not know what to post for a half an hour, when I could literally go live and just say hi to my people and say, this is what I'm dealing with today. Right? This is what's going on in my life. I said that yesterday when I went live. I was like, I literally probably would take me like 30 minutes to go live on this topic, but we're just going to do this. This is what I'm feeling. This is what happened to me today. And this is the message that's brought on because of it. Right? So sometimes your life is going to look like that, where you've got these small pockets, especially if you're full-time, but even if you're part-time, even if you're just a stay-at-home mama, we all have busy schedules. We all have priorities and commitments at home. And so don't take this training as just like, oh, well, I don't work outside the home, so it doesn't apply to me. It does apply to you, because you're building a business while still honoring your priorities and your commitments at home. And if you don't get that in check, you're going to start running into problems where maybe somebody's telling you, hey, why are you on your phone all the time? God, you're on your phone again, right? It's going to turn into an issue. Don't act like I have never been there. I have, but some of the notes that I have here, number one is awareness. Where are you actually spending your time? I used to spend a ton of time doing self-development. And so that's what I was telling you last night, Karen, on the phone, is that if I am driving to work, I no longer listen to the radio. I just don't. I listen to self-development. My kids listen to it. They're just like forced to listen to it. I'm like, we're going to listen to Jesse this morning. We're going to listen to Miss Katie. Whatever I need to listen to, I plan it before I even get in the car. I don't sit there in the car and figure out what I'm going to listen to. I plan this out ahead of time. I said, this is what I'm going to listen to tomorrow morning. And I put it on and I listen to it the entire way to work. And if I've done my self-development in the morning, a lot of times I do wake up early and I read or I listen to something in the morning. And as I'm listening to it, maybe I'm adding to my network a little bit in the morning. But if I haven't fit that self-development in, you guarantee I'm listening to it on the way to work. Even if I have, sometimes I do a little bit more. But what I was telling you last night, Karen, is if I've done self-development in the morning, then I need to be really self-aware that I've already spent that time allotment doing self-development. So if I have a 15-minute, 30-minute lunch break, and I do have the type of job where I can't be on my phone, I literally can't. I have to put it away. And so, yes, I drink a lot of water, so I can go to the bathroom a lot and check my messages. But like, if it's a message that's not of importance, if it's a message that can wait till later, it waits till later. And I try not to let that distract me. But if I've done my self-development in the morning, for example, then I have a 15-minute, 30-minute lunch break. I don't spend my lunch break doing self-development again. Right? Because then I'm going to be sitting there and I'm double doing. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to be like, I got nothing done because I never come up with a post, or I never did any engagement on my stories or on my feed or anything. I didn't talk to anybody. On my IPA list every single day, you see I put in the chat, is make a friend. The reason why I have that is because I'm not just doing drive-by engagements on my stories and on other people's content. I'm literally talking to them. I'm asking them questions. I'm following up with them with, like, I have a really good friend that just had a baby, right? She's not in this business, but she's in a different company, but I've made really good friends with her. And so I check back on people with what's going on in their life, right? And it's on my to-do list every single day to make a friend, to make sure that I'm getting those engagements in and I'm actually talking to people, because for the longest time in my business, I didn't talk to anybody. And I literally would sit there and be like, well, why am I not there yet? I should be there by now. Like, I don't understand. Like, maybe this is harder than, maybe I'm not cut out for this. And so don't let yourself get into that arena. Okay. You have to be very self-aware with the time that you're spending and where you're spending it. So what I said on that training in the team page is that if that means writing it down, write it down. Check yourself one day and say, okay, I spent X amount of time. Like, literally time yourself. Say, how much time did I spend on self-development? How much time did I spend on engagement? Where did I spend my time? Are you on training calls? Are you on Zooms? Are you on every single Work With Me Zoom every single day? If you're on the Zoom, I hope that you're actually doing the work with me and you're not just sitting there and not wasting time, but that you're not just like sitting there listening to it and then you hang up after it's done and then you go do your IPAs, right? That's not effective time management, especially when you're working, right? When you have to prioritize your time, you prioritize your time, because this is why I say to myself every single morning, when I walk into work, I say, Amber, how much longer do you want to do this? How much longer do you want to do this? Because if you're not very clear on why you're doing what you're doing, then the strength in your discipline is going to be really, really weak, and you're going to fall behind, and you're going to have days where you don't do what you need to do, and you're going to have more days and they pile on top of each other. If you're not strong in your belief of where you're going and where this business can take you, then you're going to fall behind. And when you fall behind, you're going to start questioning yourself. You're going to start questioning if you're worth it. You're going to start questioning, are you a good leader? You're going to have all these negative things that come into your mind, when realistically, that's not the truth. The truth is that you didn't get disciplined enough with yourself to actually do A, B, and C for your business today. And it wasn't until I started treating this like a business that it actually started paying me like one, that I started to see consistent paychecks, right? There's many, many months where I went with no paycheck, where I had to pay for my products. And I was like, God, like, I don't understand. How can everybody else, right, earn all this free product, but I can't even do it? It's because I wasn't putting in the work myself. So be self-aware is number one for me. We've got group chats, we've got CEO phone calls, we've got challenges, giveaways, podcasts, books, YouTube, we've got the team page, we've got all those trainings on there, right? It's like a never ending hole that you can fall into of just trying to learn all the things and do all the things and prepare to run your business. When you check yourself at the end of the day, did you actually run your business, or did you spend all day listening to trainings that are from a year ago, right? Limit yourself. Limit yourself, because I used to sit there and be like, I did all the self-development today, right? I did so many things. No, but I didn't run my business, right? And so then I can't be upset when I haven't ranked up, or I don't have a paycheck on Tuesday. Then I can't be upset because I'm the problem, right?
Mhm.
But you have to be able to say that to yourself, and sometimes that's hard. Okay. Number two, I have planning and productivity, right? So it goes into where are you spending your time, but number two, planning. And I spend Sundays to go through my schedule. And if you don't have a planner, go get you a planner. This is literally from Target. It's nothing fancy, but I start writing down on Sundays what I want my week to look like the next week. Okay. And so it's a little empty right now because I just started working on it, but I write down here, like, what time am I working that day and what's important to me. So orange, I'm very color coordinated and I'm a little bit OCD, but orange is team stuff, like big team stuff, like the Wednesday chats with M, or the opportunity events, stuff like that. Those big things that I am not going to miss, right? Even if I miss a Monday with Lindsay, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to it again, but I do not miss Wednesdays. The pink ones are my personal team, my personal downline. If somebody wants a one-on-one coaching call, I write them in here in pink. If it's something like a customer follow-up that needs to be done, I highlight them in yellow. And then every day as I'm engaging with people, and this is on M's training for her, oh, you can't even see me, for her organization and follow-ups, go look at that in the team page. Be resourceful, because she goes through, like, every single day. She says, you know, if you have a conversation with somebody and they ask you about the products, write their name down. I also write down, even if they don't order from you or whatever, they were still interested in whatever, either the business or the products. I write them down. I write where I can find them, Facebook or Instagram. And I keep them on my list so that I know when to follow up with them, right? And so that's on that training. So make sure you go back and look at that, but plan your week out. What days are you going to be gone extra long? For me, on Wednesday, I have a 12-hour shift on Wednesday. So guarantee what I'm going to be doing Tuesday night. I'm going to be putting up an opportunity story, right, for people to see, because on Wednesday, I'm not going to have a lot that I can be active on my stories. It's just, it is what it is, right? I might have a couple things I can pop in here and there, but Tuesday night I'll be putting up an opportunity story so that there's something for people to look at, and my stories don't go blank. Never let your stories expire. Number two is batching content. So when you're listening to your self-development, if something really hits you, you need to write it in your notes section. In my notes section in my phone, it's terrible. Like, I have so many, I have literally like 100 and something notes, and they're just random. But if you get into a day where you're like, oh, I just don't know what to post, I go to that section. I'm like, what can I be inspired by today? Because there's something that I was inspired by before that I wrote down in here, and maybe it'll re-spark something. On days where you're off and you have more time, maybe you can shower, maybe you can put on some makeup, maybe you can walk around your house and you can take pictures. Okay, I used to get really stuck in feeling like I had to produce a picture every single day. That stressed me out because I felt like I had to, like, that the photo for my post had to be that day in the moment. It doesn't. Take your photos with your kids on your weekends or whatever you're doing. Take pictures of your self-development, take pictures of your products, take pictures of you holding your products. There's also a really great training in the team page about taking photos. So go, like I said, be resourceful and look into that. But batch your photos, batch your content, right? That's how I do that. I write it down in my notes app. And you pull from your fives. You've heard that before, where we talk about your five things you love about the products, 5 things you love about the business, and 5 things that make you you. Okay, for the longest time, I didn't write that down. I didn't even know. And that's embarrassing to say. For the longest time, I did not write that down. And it wasn't until I flipped the script in my mind and I said, Amber, you have to start treating this like a business. So let's get this straight up here and let's write down your 5s. And that really helped me hone in on my content, on what I was posting about. If I posted about samples one day, am I going to post about samples the next day? No. Right? And so that is just kind of like in a nutshell how I batch my content. And if I'm engaging on somebody's stuff, on their stories or their news feed, and I'm like, ooh, like I really like the way they laid that product out and it just looks really crisp and clean, or ooh, like this message just like really spoke to me, maybe I can kind of flip it a little bit for me, then I'll take a screenshot. And on days, like I said, where maybe you don't know what to post, I go back to my screenshots and I'm like, oh yeah, that inspired me. Maybe I can kind of flip it a little bit and I'll make it my own, right? And then you go back to those photos that you've batched and you pull from a photo and you make it your own. Am I saying you do that every single day? No, some days I post and it's just like what I was thinking that day, literally in the moment. But then there's other days where it's not, where it's like I've planned this out. This is what I'm going to put up on Wednesday, right? Let's see, what else? Being busy versus being productive. We talked about that a little bit. One thing that I'm going to do, that you guys know that I literally, I don't go to sleep on time. And that is like, it's my fault. It's something I need to work on. And so what I've realized lately, especially, is with working full time and being a wife and being a mom and being a business owner, I literally feel like sometimes I get a little overwhelmed, right? Where I feel like I'm doing all the things. And I say to myself, I literally can't do everything, right? And then you get into this place where maybe you snap at your husband or maybe you snap at your kids because you're a little bit overwhelmed and you don't know how to handle things. And it's because maybe you've been burning at both ends of the stick, okay? I've been waking up early, sometimes in the 4 o'clock hour, sometimes in the 5 o'clock hour, and then I've been staying up late till about 11 o'clock at night. And if I'm staying up that late, right, how much sleep I'm actually getting is actually going to be affecting the next day and how productive I am. So one thing I'm going to start doing, and it's going to start it tonight, is I've got myself an old school OG alarm clock, and I'm going to put my phone in the kitchen, right? I have to put this boundary up for myself, because if I don't, then I'm going to catch myself again where I'm up too late and I'm not being productive, or I'm not spending that time with Sean, or I'm not like getting the rest that I need to be able to perform better tomorrow, if that makes sense. So I need to be able to prioritize sleep. So that's one thing that I'm going to be working on, except for nights where I'm on call. If I'm on call, I have to have my phone on me, but otherwise my phone's going to be spending the night in the kitchen. And sometimes you do need to unplug, and sometimes you do need to go and spend that time with your family and spend that time with your husband. Don't get me wrong. We're not sitting here saying that you need to wake up early and stay up late and run your business. You just need to be a little bit more streamlined, and you need to really focus on your time management. Maybe that means you search on YouTube, time management, small business owner, how to work on time management, podcasts for time management, whatever. If you know that's an area that you need to work on, then you need to work on it. Don't wait for somebody to be your accountability partner. You've got to be that accountability partner for yourself. Because here's the thing, you're going to add somebody to your business, you're going to enroll a promoter, and she's going to struggle with the same thing that you're struggling with now. How are you ever going to be able to get her past that hump if you never got past that hump yourself? Right? Stop multitasking a little bit, right? Stop multitasking a little bit, because even as a mama, we think we can do 7 things at one time, which we probably can, but just because we can do it that way doesn't mean we should do it that way. Because what happens when you try to do 7 things at once, and you're listening to a podcast and you're cooking dinner and you're trying to do engagement and you're trying to love on your kids, you end up giving 10%. You give 10% to every single one. When wouldn't it be more effective if you could get down on the floor and play with your kids for whatever time slot you give them, right? Or you give yourself timer, right? I started setting timers for my engagement, 10 minutes at a time. I can't sit there, this is just me, but I can't sit there for half an hour and do engagement. Like my brain gets numb. I literally can't. And so I'm like little blitzes I think is what M called it. Little blitzes is I'm good at that. I can knock out 10 minutes in the morning. Maybe I can knock out another 10 minutes at lunch. Maybe on Monday, my lunch break, I'm doing engagement on Facebook, and Tuesday in my lunch break, I'm doing engagement on Instagram, or maybe I'm doing a lunch live. I don't know. Either way, I'm doing something. I'm touching my business at lunch, right? Because I've prioritized that. And I said, this is where my time break is. I've got to go, right? You have to make moves.
One thing that I've been doing is on 2 of my part-time days are day shifts. So I get up in the morning and I'll jump in the shower. But while I'm in the shower, I'll throw on a video from Stephen Furtick. And that's my self-development. That's my motivation all in one, because I don't know if you've ever heard Stephen Furtick, but that's a little bit motivating for me. So yeah. That's going to get you going, right? And it can also inspire a post as well. So as soon as you get out of the shower, write down on a Post-it, da-da-da-da-da, right? And then there's your post for later that day. I go to my job, I come home and I can sit down, relax, eat something, because I know I've already poured into myself. And that's time management, because while I'm in the shower, I've got a podcast going or a motivational speech going, or maybe you just need some Jesus music going on, right? So while you're in the shower or getting ready for work and you're taking your nutrition, you can have that podcast while you're doing that, because you're absorbing that while you're getting ready for your day. And then that also helps me to be able to pour into my customers, because a lot of the times I walk to work. So I've got that stuff going on while I'm walking to work, and then I'm hyped. And that's how I'm that happy cashier, right? So I actually, and as far as sleep goes that you were talking about, Junior thinks this is hilarious, because Junior's my husband, for some of you who don't know. He works with a guy and they are just constantly having conversations. Like, this guy is like a very conversational guy. He's very, I don't want to say he's like overeducated or nothing, but he's always looking stuff up, and they're always having conversations in the office. My husband sells insurance, so they're always doing, that in between sales and stuff. But it's funny that this guy brought this video, it's on YouTube, to my husband's attention, because I've been getting up anywhere between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, and I go to bed anywhere between 8 and 10. So a late night is 11 for me. I'm that grandma again. So I'm not that night owl anymore. I'm not staying up all night. And it's funny that I've been doing this whole time. And this guy showed my husband this video about getting up at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, and the sleep that you go through. Like, if you go to bed at this time to this time, what happens to your body? So it's not just getting enough sleep, it's what's going on with your body and stuff. I will find this video and I will share it in the team chat. But like, another thing is, when you're, like we said earlier, we sneak off to the bathroom when we can, and we'll do like engagements on stories, right? Not everybody posts 50 stories in a day, so you're talking to somebody different each time you pop in there. So if you're doing that 12-hour shift like Amber does some days, and you sneak off those times, you're having how many conversations with people throughout the day? Like, at least 5 to 10 conversations with somebody, asking them about whatever it is that they posted, or, oh, that's a great recipe, can you send it to me? Or, oh my gosh, your dog's so cute, I just got a new puppy too, and whatever, right? So you're talking to you're having 6 to 10 different conversations in a day, in the pockets of your day while you're at work. You're talking to somebody different every time. So it's not like you're sitting there having the same conversation with the same person. You're talking to different people. So I'll find that YouTube video. I'll have my husband send me the link to it, and I will send that, because it was so super funny that was sent. And it really does affect your body, the sleep that you get. And like I said earlier, if you're not pouring into yourself and take care of yourself, you can't take care of your kids. You're going to be snapping at your husband and your kids, and you can't pour into other people if you're empty. So you are your business. You have to pour into yourself before you can pour into anybody else. Before you can take care of your kids, you have to take care of yourself. That goes the same for your business. But always time block, always time manage, because I think Em has said she spent 11 hours a day in her phone. That blows my mind. I cannot do that. I cannot even fathom doing that. So time pocket, like Amber just said, spend one day on Instagram engaging, spend another day on Facebook engaging, or throw up a post on Facebook and engage on Instagram. but write it down. Make a schedule for yourself, just like as if you were punching that time clock, right? This is the time I'm going to do my business, and this is what I'm going to do for my business today, right? Got a time block, time manage.
Let's see, what else? I think that's the majority of my notes. As far as time management, you will get better at it as you go. I think as you hop on Work With Me Zooms and you actually see what it takes to run a business, what it takes to do a round of IPAs, what that means for you, make your list of non-negotiables. What at minimum are you going to do for your business every single day? And then what are your, this would be nice to do every single day, right? And so make sure you have your IPA list, because like I said, if you don't have an IPA list, if you don't know what you're doing for your business that day, it's like going to the gym and not having a plan. It's like eating a cupcake after you go to the gym and you're like, well, I worked it off, or I worked for this. So like, no, you're not getting anywhere closer to your goal. You're actually sabotaging yourself. And so I'll go into the end of the month real quick. I know we've talked about it a lot, but make sure you're being resourceful in your business, because like I said, if you can't be resourceful to be the leader for yourself, then how are you ever going to be able to lead another person? And a lot of the times for me, that meant going to the team page and searching for whatever I was struggling with. I used to ask people questions a lot, and I've kind of gotten away from that a little bit as kind of like a tester for myself. If I have a question about something, I'm like, wait, let me see if I can figure this out on my own. Let me see if I can figure out how to talk this person through this conversation without asking somebody else. What would you say if this person said that, right? You're actually strengthening yourself. You're strengthening your mindset and you're strengthening your character when you're pushing through those moments of, I don't know what to do, or the awkward phase of conversations with people, right? When you push through it, that is when on the other side you come out stronger and you'll be able to help somebody else through it. As far as end of the month, go through the team page. There's trainings on end of the month. There's trainings on organization. There is a training I did on working full time and time management, and a little bit more in detail than what I did today. But I would say at the end of the month, what I do, I have on my schedule, right? I told you, like day by day. And then I also have, I'll go back to an old month. I write down whoever ordered. I write down who ordered from me. I write down, like, I categorize them if they're a promoter, if they're under me, or if they're under Sean, right? Because I run 2 accounts. I keep track of who ordered, when they're ordering, so that I can check in with my customers and have good customer service and ask them if they have any questions, or if there's anything that they're needing, or if there's anything they want more information on, yada, yada, right? And I'm literally talking to them like a friend, because they are a friend. I look at my goals. I look at the goals that I set for myself. Is it not in here? They're gone. Oh, they might be in my other notebook. I write down the goals that I set for myself for each week. I write down the goals that I set for myself for last month. And if you've never written them down, where are you going? If you don't know where you're at, how are you going to get to where you want to go? You have to have that GPS system. Okay, think of it like that. You have to have that GPS system. If I want to promote to 4K, then maybe I want to help 2 people this month hit their VIPs, right? Maybe what that looks like for me is I'm signing 2 promoters this month if I'm trying to hit 4K, right? Or maybe I'm working really, really close with somebody else who is in my downline that's really pushing for 4K, and I'm helping strengthen them as a leader, right? Maybe it means that I personally need to sign more customers, right? And so what does that look like for you? What did you accomplish last month in your business? If you can't answer that question, then you didn't make a list last month. Okay, so go back to your vision board. If you don't have a vision board, we got bigger problems here, baby girl. But if you don't have a vision board, what are you doing? Right? What are we doing if we don't have a vision board? If we don't have an idea of what we want out of this business so that we can go backwards and we can backtrack and we can say, okay, I want to be able to be a debt-free family. So what does that look like for me? So what that looks like for me is I want to bring in more income than I'm making as a nurse. Okay, so what does that look like for me? What does that number look like? Right? Versus what is my number? What does my paycheck look like every Tuesday right now? So how much more do I need to be doing? How many more people do I need to be helping? And just shoot for it and go, right? These past 2 months, I made on my vision board, I cut out little, I'm not going to walk in there, but I cut out little Post-it notes. They're about this size, you know, like the little ones. And I put on there customer, 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 10 customers I wanted to sign for the month and 10 samples that I wanted to sell. I have 2 Post-it notes with 4K written on it and who I want to bring to 4K, right? And then I have on the side, I have 4 promoters that I wanted to bring in. Have I reached that? No. But the purpose of the goal is not reaching the goal, okay? This is from Bob Heilig on his Your Virtual Upline podcast. It stuck with me ever since he said it. He said the purpose of a goal is not reaching the goal. It's who you're becoming in pursuit of the goal. You're becoming the girl that's consistent. You're becoming the girl that posts about her products on her stories every day. You're becoming the girl who speaks life into her audience on her stories or on her Facebook lives, or you're becoming the girl who actually goes Facebook Live, right? If that's something that you're scared to death about. You're becoming a stronger person in pursuit of doing those things. And am I close to what I set for? Yeah, I am. But it's not marking off all those things on my list, right? It's getting consistent and posting about samples, right? Because those samplers become those customers, right? It's getting consistent with maybe talking about plus line products, because maybe somebody doesn't want a 3-step sample, but they do want a rest sample, right? Because I talk about the sleep aid that I use every single night. Not every single night. I use every week. So get consistent in doing those things, but you've got to have that big vision. Okay, so write down for yourself for December. What's your goal? What's a big goal for you for December? Where do you want to be, right? And then you got to backtrack from there. So what does that mean for you, right? And Karen, we're going to talk about this another day when we go on our Zoom together, but we talked about VIP period, right? Maybe we want to treat December, the first 2 weeks of December, like our VIP period all over again. And we want to run for our VIPs, whether there's a bonus available for us or not, it doesn't matter. It's not the goal, that's the purpose. The purpose is that you're proving to yourself that you can sign 2 customers, and you can sign 2 promoters, and you can help somebody do the same thing, whether you did it initially when you signed up or not. That doesn't matter. Do you know how many leaders never hit their VIP period? I never hit mine. Come on. But I've helped somebody hit it, right? That's not the purpose of the goal. The purpose of the goal is becoming who you need to be, becoming that next version of yourself that you need to be 4K, to be 12K, to be 40K, right? Don't limit yourself to that next rank that's above your head. Don't limit yourself to that, okay? Start showing up like you're the rank ahead of that, and you're going to fall on that rank that's right above your head, I promise you. So we're going to end it at that. Write down your goals. If you have questions, reach out to your enroller, reach out to us in our chats, and we will be more than happy to answer your questions. But I hope this was helpful. I feel like I was all over the place. But you have to know where you're at right now to be able to know where you're going. You have to. That's self-discipline. That's showing up for your business every single day. That's not taking the excuses that are really easy for us to throw out there. That's not taking the easy route. It's not going to be easy. Of course, other people have more time because they're not working full time or they're not working part time. But you can't let your excuse be the reason why you're stepping out of the game. You can go backwards, right? How much longer do you want to keep sitting in your struggle? How much longer do you keep want to clocking into that job? How much longer How much longer do you want to be in debt? Right? And start there. Okay, this is Chance. All right, I'm going to end it here, you guys. This was a long one. But, oh, good, Michelle. I'm glad it was helpful. I will talk to y'all later. Thank you, Karen.